She's big, she's black, and the bitch is back. Let us put our hands together for the one and only Delicious!
I won't go up to no, got to let it show. I'm coming up. I won't go up to no, got to let it show.
Welcome to the show. This segment is your first segment. We'd like to welcome you to the first showing ever of Delicious Show, so where you can get the dish with delish. Well, starting this segment, we're going to have Miss Margaret on from the Ep1Pt1 Foundation, who's going to be talking a little bit about the foundation, what we're doing to prevent the spreading of HIV. So she'll be right back after this. If you're interested in being on the show, please email us on info@nolybrown.com, drop us a line, and we'll get back in touch. See you right after this.
Delicious.
Well, welcome back to the Delicious Show, and here with me we've got Margaret Michaud with us as we promised. She's with the AIDS Foundation here in Grand Cayman, and she's going to tell us a little bit about the organization, her fight against HIV, and educating people with this disease. And as you know, December 1st is World AIDS Day. So Margaret, how are you this evening?
Well, I'm a little exhausted getting ready for World AIDS Day. There's a little resistance,
I can imagine.
you know. It's not a topic people want to talk about, my dear.
But I want to ask, why is it such a shown thing when it comes to HIV? It's, you know, a lot of times it's not anyone's fault when they contract this disease. They could get it by blood transfusion, many different ways. But from the time you ask the A word, people sort of go, whoa.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't understand why.
I think that what you just said is so accurate. They attach a moral card. They attach a card of judgment. People don't walk and say, excuse me, how did you get cancer?
Exactly.
How did you get this medical illness or that medical illness? So I think that a long time ago it got attached to moralities
Okay.
that then moved to judgment.
Oh, okay. Well, the thing is that I don't understand. You know, you mention HIV or AIDS, and the first thing people go, oh yeah, gay people. They're just go side by side for some reason. And that's not the facts.
No, absolutely. You are absolutely correct. Those are not the facts. Just because once upon a time we discovered it initially in the gay community, that's stuck to the wall. And it's inaccurate because, as you said, you can get it from breastfeeding, you can get it from any blood to semen mix, you can get it. So it really doesn't have a whole lot to do with gay. I think that's where the story once began, and nobody moved the marker.
Okay. Well, it's nice that you're here to educate people on this disease here, because, I mean, there's a lot of issues that go with it. And yet again, like other issues like cancer, diabetes, that sort of thing, people seem to be ashamed to come forward and say, yes, I have this disease. And as I've always said, in numbers, we are bigger, you know, and we get what we want if we come out in groups and fight for whatever it is than one individual person trying to do it all on their own. But for some reason here in the Cayman Islands, we spend more time talking about people and criticizing people than helping. And I think that's one of our worst faults that we have here. You know, from my opinion, I mean, I can't really speak for anyone else, but people are the people that I hang around with me to say, oh yeah, you got this because blah, 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 blah. They don't come and say, well, you know, I'm so sorry to hear you have this. Is there anything I can do to help you? It's always a negativity that comes out first. Not knowing the facts of how the person has contracted it. They don't really care, just ridicule, they're just ready to just rip you to shreds. And that's why I guess people don't want to come forward and say different, say they have it or, you know, or ask for help and that sort of thing. And I think it's really, really bad. It's like me, I've decided to do the show called Delicious. Now, for me, excuse my expression, I don't give a fuck what anybody says or what they want to do. This is me. You know, to me, it's like television. You don't want to watch it? Flip the channel. I'm not telling you to come and log on to my site. If you don't want to see me, go somewhere else. You know, so there's things that we need to work on here in the Cayman Islands, and I've only known you for a short time, but for the time that I've known you, you seem to be a fighter.
Indeed, I've been blessed to have the energy to be a fighter, and more than anything, outraged at what I perceive to be injustice. And those things you're speaking of are indeed many injustices, because I can move the marker another movement over and say the folks that I have worked with and dealt with and had the pleasure of their sharing their lives with me very, very positive. Let's talk about forgiveness, shall we? Let's talk about being honorable people.
Exactly.
If we want to wrap our heads around, oh, I think that person's positive because of their lifestyle like this, how about living each and every day in an environment of which you speak, where people may not have to say anything, it's the energy, it's the attitude, and I go, wow, but by the grace of God, people, you must really think twice before you speak.
Well, my motto is, if you live in glass houses, don't throw stones. Because I've been out in the scene, I've clubbed, I've done all that, you know, and it's like I go out on the weekends with my friends, and every weekend it's like, just one have to sleep with someone. And I'm saying, what's the point? Find someone and settle down. There are too many things out there. Why do you have to sleep with 6 people for the weekend?
Well, and you know, I'm going to go with education too, because I'll tell you, with this particular illness, let's give it, it's getting old, it's 30. It has been around for 30 years. That virus has mutated, it has changed, medications have changed, and it is one of the most dynamic illnesses known to mankind, which is where we haven't come up with a cure. Very dynamic. And with that dynamic, we should then offer the greatest amount of education humanly possible.
Exactly.
Because that is what is needed, is more and more education. Regardless of looking at someone's lifestyle. Let's say that, you know, people have different partners or whatever the circumstances may be. I have worked in areas with people who unfortunately were very poor and got caught up in prostitution. They're easy targets to mark and judge. But I said, let's not mark and judge. Let's kind of take a look at how to prevent the illness instead of worrying how somebody might have gotten it.
Okay, I agree with that. I actually agree with that. You know, Dan from Northside emailed me and asked a question. Now, she said to me that if you're going on a date for the person you met for the first time, is it a bad thing if you know the relationship is not going to go anywhere to have sex with this person? Now, from my point of view, as long as you're safe, I would say, hell yeah. If that's something that you want to do, go ahead and do it. You know, rock his world. Do whatever you want to do.
I say that as adult people, we should be allowed to make whatever adult, intimate decisions that are our choice. And by offering that education, whatever choices people want to make, if he wants to go with this person or that person, whatever choices he wants to make, if he's well educated around protecting himself and protecting others, then we don't have any concerns. I think that's where people are constantly like peeking in the window. I go, no, you don't need to peek in anyone's window. You need to give them the tools and let them live their life.
Okay. Well, we'll come back after this short break. And when we come back, we're going to ask Margaret the mystery question, because you know we like to get the dish on Delicious here, where she got the title Queen Condom here in the Cayman Islands. We'll be right back after these messages.
Delicious.